What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of BKNY Hoops. If you are new to the channel, new to the show, it's your boy Rashid. All right, sorry for being actually so late to the show. Some technical difficulties there, so we're going to get right into it. We're not going to waste any time. Nets projected to take Kingston Flemings with the overall number one pick. Now, that's the word out there. That's actually a rumor. I'm not sure how true that is, but hopefully it's not, because there are some alarming issues that I have with, let's say, Kingston Fleming. It's not his skill. I think he's really, really skilled. I love the fact his speed, his first step, he's I would say explosive, and being able to actually go to his left hand and still have that first step. Yeah, I mean it's really really good though. So yo, Daniel, what's going on, man? Yo, I seen you on the locker room show last night, man. So yeah, that's a really really good channel, man. Really one of the best YouTube channels really out there, man, when it comes to basketball analysis, and also just keeping it a buck, keeping it real, man. So let's get into it. So now, I think Sean Marks would be insane to really take Kingston Flemings with the number one pick, especially when you look at where the league is actually really going. So, right now, he's listed at 6'4", right? They always give these guys a couple of inches. Like I was looking at Jalen Duren right next to Cade Cunningham, and it's like those two are like almost the same size. But I think Jalen Duren is almost listed at like 6'11", I believe. But you look at him and Cade Cunningham together, like it's like not that much of a height discrepancy right there, man. So let's get into the actual articles over here. So this one was coming from the actual Locked On guy there, and it was saying that he was interested. Let me see something here. I think this is it right here. Yeah, right here. Okay. Um, so it says Brooklyn showing drive interest in star freshman outside of top four. Okay. So basically they're saying if the Nets don't actually get the number one pick, then Kingston Flemings is their guy. But now we already have a plethora of point guards already. You have Yegor Demon, who I really want as the Nets point guard, because simply because of his size, his ability to actually play three positions, guard three positions when he gets stronger. Not right now. He can't guard anything right now. But when he gets stronger, he'll be able to guard the 1, the 2, the 3. If he can get up to like 230, possibly a power forward, depending on how big the other power forward is. If it's like a smaller power forward, so he can switch, onto like different defenders, different wings, and of course matchup issues with opposing point guards there, man. So it says the Nets have their sights set on a top pick loaded in the 2026 NBA draft. Now we're gonna do a lot of draft stuff in the next couple of months. We're gonna see how loaded this draft really truly is. We're gonna also get into the scout report of Kingston Fleming too. So it says this actually comes from Locked On guy here.
Who's the top guy that you have outside of the top four that Nets fans should be watching right now?
A name that I think is really important to monitor from Net fans, from what I've heard around the league, is Kingston Flemings from Houston. That is a name that I've heard the Nets are kind of interested in, and he's been incredible this year. He was kind of unheralded. He's also going to a veteran Houston Cougars team, so it was like, is he going to play, or is he going to be a sophomore guy? And he's just blown the doors off. Like, his athleticism is crazy. Stylistically, he reminds me of, like, what if Derrick Rose wasn't built like a football player and jumped like an Olympic, gymnastic competitor? Still crazy athletic, but like that's kind of his play style. That first step, it is insane.
That checks out. Like, I could understand why that's the case, because, good size at point guard, like 6'4", and as you said, dynamic athlete, puts a ton of pressure on the paint with his speed and athleticism.
Yeah, that's the thing. So is Ja Morant. Now, Kingston Flemings is also a $180. Ja Morant a $173. You look at the actual height. The NBA average height in the NBA is 6'6", 6'7". That's just average. All right. So I'm looking at guys like Jalen Johnson, and you see the size, you see the length, you see the athleticism. He's a guy that can switch, like let's say for 1, the 2, or the 3. And like the NBA today is positionless, especially like with all the switching. So I just don't want a one-dimensional like point guard. I mean, the guy who's just 6'3" and that can just guard only one position. You actually have to have guys that can guard multiple positions. Now, if we look at guys, let's say like a Tyrese Maxey, we're going to get into all the other point guards out there, and let's see where Kingston Flemings even ranks up next to those guys. And listen, it's always about comparing. A lot of you guys be like, yo, BK, you always comparing. Yeah, man. I mean, you look at the scout reports and you see the actual guys that are they compare. We're going to do, was it Caleb Wilson tomorrow? And we're going to look at his comparisons. So it says over here, the Houston guard has averaged 16.6 points, 3.7 rebounds, 5.3 assists, 1.7 steals. Now, I was watching a lot of highlights of him. I didn't really watch any games. And like on the off days that the Brooklyn Nets aren't playing, I'm going to be watching a lot of games. So he is really, really good defender. He has active hands. I don't know about now that's off ball defense. Like not on ball defense. Now he gets switched on to like a Jalen Johnson, a Jaylen Brown, a Cade Cunningham, Shea. You could be the best defender in the world. I mean, you don't have a prayer with his size, especially like 180 pounds, really stopping any of these guys, man. So yeah, good like playing passing lanes and like, you know, being able to like get steals and finish at the rim. Especially like on like, let's say if he does come to the Brooklyn Nets and you don't really have any guys that can really generate any type of offense in the half court. Yeah, I mean, that's really good. But like when the game slows down and let's say he gets into a half court set, you'll see that he would actually really struggle. They said his athleticism is really crazy. Stylistically, he reminds you of a Derrick Rose. Oh yeah, okay, that's what's just pretty highlighting what they were saying in that actual interview. So you already had, the problem is you already have Nolan, right? You have Nolan Troyer. Now he's definitely way more athletic than a Nolan Troyer, especially speed wise, defensively. I think Nolan's a little bit stronger, but then you actually look at Ben Saraf. They talk about his size, 6'6". And this exactly, see, it talks about positional versatility, and this is if Ben can actually shoot an outside shot. Now, if Ben gets a second contract of let's say $6-7 million, he should be getting 1,000 shots up a day. You could pay people 3 or 4 guys to actually rebound the basketball for you and get about 500 makes a day. And in about a year or so, a year and a half, his 3-point shot should improve. And that happens, I'd rather take Ben Saraf as your point guard than a Kingston Flemings over here, man. So let's look at the actual scouting report of Kingston Flemings and who the NBA comparisons are according to the actual NBA scouts. Oh, and we also going to do a little video because you guys actually don't really think I know what I'm actually talking about. We're going to look into a couple of last year's players who and there's a lot of regret when it comes down to some of those last year's draft picks that a lot of people came on the show and say, yo, Noah Sanjay was really good. And I'm like, nah, I don't really see it. And Model Watch and things like that. So let's look into the actual scouting report of Kingston Flemings, and let's see. Hold on here. Let's see. I hate when it does this. All right. All right, here we go. All right, so NBA comparisons is a Derrick Rose or De'Aaron Fox, definitely with their speed and athleticism. Problem is, like I said, it's just really when it comes to even like a Derrick Rose, if he was playing in today's NBA, man, too small. I think he was like 6'2". It's not about like the offense actually the offense, if they can't really shoot a high clip from the 3-point line, that's a problem when you're an undersized guard And then on defense, man. I mean, yes, saw the last video I did with Cam Thomas, and you had Kevin Durant in that opening, basically saying how they would just pick on Darius Garland because of his size, and now you actually have to send help. But now, his strengths over here, basically, it says 55% from the field and nearly 45% from three. He keeps turnovers low. That's actually pretty good. 45% from the three-point line. That's really, really, really excellent. All right, so I like him already, man, because even if he does get picked on the defensive end, he can make up for it on the three-point line. And especially, I mean, this is actually better than Derrick Rose, because Derrick Rose really couldn't shoot. So if Derrick Rose could shoot a three-point shot, he just wouldn't have to rely so much on the athleticism just to really score. It could take, like a three-point shot is really the easiest shot to actually, let's say it doesn't take as much energy, right? You get the most points, most points shooting wise, and it doesn't expend that much energy taking that shot and making that shot, depending on how many you actually take. And so it says he finishes well at the rim with both hands. I mentioned that when I was actually looking at him. He actually can go to his left, and it was the same thing. Like I was looking at Ben Simmons, how he can still go full speed with his left hand, which is actually really, really hard. It's not an easy task right there. Some guys like dribbling the ball with their left hand, especially when I play basketball, I'm not as quick with my left hand as I am going to my right hand. That's something I got to work on. But for him to actually be able to really do that and still be able to finish, over defenders, it's really kind of impressive. But again, this is college right here. This is not the actual NBA pros, man. So I was watching the AJ DeBonsta game. I forgot to actually get that clipped up. And AJ DeBonsta, we know, is 6'9" with a long wingspan, and he blocked a couple of his shots in that game. And so he's going to see a lot of guys like that, like a Jalen Johnson, a Jalen Brown, J.D. McDaniels. All these guys can actually move laterally. So the weaknesses over here, it says, let me see if I can blow this up for you guys so you can read it. Let's see. It's already at 150%. All right, so 175 here. It says over here, where is it? Weaknesses. It says shooting mechanics can include extra motion and could be streamlined for efficiency. All right, let's get to the real good stuff. He has not proven himself as a true high volume offensive option, more of a good, solid passer than an elite manipulative one at the stage. To maximize his NBA value, he will likely be asked to increase his scoring aggression and offensive load. Yeah, definitely. If you're going to really get make really, really good passes, you got to be able to, you have to be a good scoring threat. You can't just, I'm not sure how his game would actually translate in college, because like I said, the NBA has long, athletic, guys that can move their feet, that can slide their feet. And if his three-point shot is not going, so, it's not a guarantee. We'll see. Like I said, we got to see if a lot of this stuff actually translates into the NBA. We've seen a lot of college guys. Look at JJ Redick. JJ Redick was a really, really, really good high school player. I'm a college player, I'm sorry. And then you look at when he got to the NBA, he was a role player. So we've seen this with a lot of guys who have really, really good college seasons. Then when it comes to the NBA, it's just different, man. So and you look at the athleticism. They said 9. I don't know if he has that Donovan Mitchell type athleticism where he can dunk on a 7-footer, and that's just not, that takes strength, not just leaping ability, but also strength to really push through the contact right there. They said defense. Yeah, I seen that. The quickness, jump shot is an 8, ball handling, really, really good ball handler. And the overall score they actually give him is a 97 though, man. So let's look at the best point guards. Let me see if it's showing up on screen here. Let's see here. Hold on. Where is this shit? Oh, I lost the actual feed on StreamYard. Oh, here we go. Player 1. Is he going to be better than Cade Cunningham? Nope. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. You know, he could be, man. Oh, no. I do have a crystal ball, though, Claude. All right. And I'm going to show you guys, especially your guy, Mala Watch, that I actually do have a crystal ball. All right. So let's look at the top NBA point guards and let's see where if Kingston Flemings can actually get to that type of level. Let's see here. Hold on. Best point guards of 25, 26. And just the competition that's going to be out there. And this is the last chance for Brooklyn over here, man. They have to get this right. And to say that, they'll choose Kingston Fleming, they already have point guards already. So why would they want a Kingston Fleming? I mean, Yegor Demon to me really has the highest ceiling, even over Kingston Flemings, though, pretty much, because if he does get stronger, basketball pretty much is all about matchups, and him being at 6'9", and he gets to like 220, 225, could be a matchup issue where you actually have to go out there and send help. So you have Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka Doncic. I don't know why they keep putting him up there, man. Luka Doncic is garbage, foul baiting, and he cannot guard a parked car, man. All right, I'm just tired of the Luka. I'm sick of it already, man, with him. Then you got Steph Curry, Jalen Brunson, Cade Cunningham. Now, Cade Cunningham should be number 2. I'll argue even number 1 over Shea because defensively, like, Cade blocks shots and he guards and he's more physical and he doesn't foul bait. He can play basketball without actually foul baiting. So I would put Cade up there. I don't know how they got him over Jalen Brunson. They bugging, man. They got to look at defense too, man. I think a lot of these guys don't know what the hell they're even talking about. So then you got Tyrese Maxey, Trae Young, De'Aaron Fox, James Harden, and Ja Morant, Darius Garland. So like a lot of these guys would be better than like, what do you call it? Like even like a Derek White. Derek White actually protects the rim. He blocks shots. And I think Kingston Flemings actually be way better than him. LaMelo Ball. So, and you see Trae Young. I mean, you see Ja Morant, and you look at how I think Ja Morant, in terms of his athleticism, it's like better than Kingston Flemings and Derrick Rose combined, man. I mean, I never seen even like with Ja Morant, someone put pressure on the defense, but then look, you see how he actually struggles when it comes to the playoffs, and then you got to look at physicality too. So he says we're going to take the best player available regardless of our position. I wouldn't. Let's go for need, man. You already have a whole bunch of guards, man, and like the article was actually saying, if Ben Saraf can actually shoot the ball, which is possible. You can actually work on your game and you can sacrifice, and he can get 1,000 shots up a day and they make 500. Then I would definitely take him over Kingston Flemings just because of the size, man. Because Claude, you're looking at it from an offensive point of view. I'm looking at it more from the defensive perspective, not just offense. This is not football. We got to play both sides of the basketball here, not just offense. I'm looking at defense. I'm looking at all these guys at 6'8", 6'9", 6'10". Paolo Banchero could bring the ball up and they initiate his offense. And now Kingston Flemings has to guard him or get switched on to him. Now you have to send help, and that leaves the 3-point shooters wide open. So if we're going to win, we got to get guys that can guard their own positions without having help sent to them, man. So even I like Nolan too, but again, just the undersized guard. No more below the rim. And now Kingston Flemings is not below the rim. But same thing, Ja's an above the rim player, but like $173, man. We need guys that are 210, 215, 220. When you have Jalen Johnson really initiating offense, and then let's say Kingston Flemings has to guard him. I mean, Jalen Johnson is going to have a career night if you don't actually send help. So if you look at Boston when they won their championship, And you look at OKC, all 5 guys can guard. They don't need help. All right. So we got to get guys that can actually play defense, man. No more below the rim, like undersized guys. I want guys that are 6'6", 6'7", and up. You know, even like if you look at OKC, their starting lineup, you know, everybody 6'5" and up. No more undersized guards. All right. So as promised over here, we're gonna, he says, a new rule of thumb. You take the best talent. Yeah, I agree. But if you're Kingston Flemings, do you want to go to the Brooklyn Nets when they actually have all these guards here? When they have Yegor and they have, how's that going to help Kingston? If he, let's say, if Kingston's the number 4 pick, yeah, how's that help him actually get to a second NBA contract if he's going to be on the bench riding behind Nolan or Yegor? You know, because Yegor, like I said, he's 6'9". A 6'9" point guard that can actually handle the basketball and see over defenses. So I definitely want Yegor to actually develop. And you act like Kingston is going to come in and just be a finished product. No, even Cade and all these guys, it took them some time. It takes them some years. Normally around 26, 27 years old, that's when you see these guys actually start to really peak. And that's if they actually put the work in, and that's actually if they really get the opportunity. Now, will Kingston actually get the opportunity to come in and just really play and make mistakes in like 20 minutes a game? No, it's a bad situation. It's the same thing with like Dylan Harper being on the Spurs. It's not a great situation. I'm glad he may say he's happy, but like, if he's out there really looking and trying to make money, which is, you know, one of the main objectivities, like when you go into the NBA, you only have really a short window to actually make money, then I would want to go to a situation like the Brooklyn Nets, man, you know? So I want to go to a place where I'm actually really, really, really needed and I can actually really, truly develop. You're not going to develop. Just ask Cam Thomas. You're not going to develop with 20 minutes a game. And then you're in and out of the lineup if you make a mistake. And you know, we look at Jody Fernandez, he's actually really trying to win. All right, so as promised over here, we're going to show you guys another video here. And he says, player 1 says NBA teams are done with you at 24. Exactly, man. Yeah. And that wasn't really Jalen Green's fault. I mean, all the guys around him couldn't shoot. You had Şengün that shot 20%. All the other guys, nobody except Fred VanVleet, he's the only, it was their best 3-point shooter. And then Jalen Green's their best 3-point shooter. So, and he's the only one that could really put pressure on the rim. So you want the ball in his hands. That kind of neuters him somewhat because you need spacing. All right, so let me play this video real quick. And hold on, let me get this up. And Claude, you're really, really gonna like this video, man. I was thinking about you when when I actually saw this over here. All right, where are we here? Let's go to window. All right, so it's this one actually. It says 5 NBA teams already regretting their 2025 draft picks. Now, we were talking about all these players last year because, you know, they got 3 different type of males out there. They got a beta male, an alpha male, and a sigma male. I'm what you considered a sigma male. I don't like having to brag and boast about, oh, I was right and beat my chest or anything like that. I don't like to do stuff like this, man. But when people have goldfish memories and they try to say, yo, BK, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I kind of know what I'm talking about. All right, let's get into it here. Let's.
In the West, but the main keys to their success have come from their perimeter play.
Oh, this comes from Hoop Reference, so definitely check out their channel and go out there and subscribe.
Brooks is bringing a tough defensive identity to the group. Devin Booker is still their leader and primary playmaker, and then they've got a ton of shooting throughout the rotation on the wings as well. But in the paint, you would think there would be room for a top 10 pick to get some tick here and there. Mark Williams has been a starting solid for them and has been a terrific anchor inside, but he doesn't even play traditional starters minutes, averaging just 24 minutes per game. Nick Richards has been their typical backup center, but has also been injured for the last few weeks, and in his absence, Malawach still has not been able to crack the rotation with the team instead, opting to play a lot of small ball lineups with Oso Igudaro serving as their small ball center. Malawach has really only stepped on an NBA court for garbage time minutes halfway through his rookie season, which, for someone taken 10th overall, is a tough look. It was understood that Malawach coming in was a very raw talent who needed patience and development to truly reach his potential, but it's hard to develop without any real reps against NBA-level competition. If the Suns were so focused on staying competitive, then a rookie more suited to produce right away may have been a better option. And with players like Cedric Howard and Derek Queen drafted immediately in the few picks after their selection of Malawach.
All right, so we were talking about Malawach last year. We did a lot of shows on Malawach, and Claude, man, you were telling me, and I'm telling he's a third string center, and I don't think Malawach really makes it to a second NBA contract. So I looked at him. I looked at a lot of his games. Just nothing about him just blew me away. Where I'm like, okay, he's the next Joel Embiid. He was pretty raw. He doesn't pass really well. You got to convert. See, again, if you want to score like, let's say 10, 12 points, you can't do it on 20 shot attempts. You have to do it in like 6 shot attempts, 7 shot attempts. And if you're going to score 20 points, it can't be on 30, 35 shot attempts. You need to be efficient. It needs to be on 12, 13 shot attempts. So they seen something in practice that they don't actually like, and they say, hey, he's not better than the was it Reed Richards or Mark Williams? So it's not about, let me let the video finish here.
Guys, it's looking like a regret in hindsight. The next team already starting to regret who they drafted in 2025 is the Chicago Bulls, who selected Noah Asenge 12th overall. Noah came to the NBA after playing in Germany last year, and again, he was another player who may not have had the most honed-in skill set, but he had the size, length, physical tools, and athleticism that NBA general managers love to try to tap into and straight gold with. He's a very fluid athlete who moves well at the power forward position. He was a strong finisher around the ring overseas.
He's undersized at the power, and this is something I was saying last year about this guy. Ellen was calling me a hater about Noah Asenge. I say you have to be like what's his name? Paolo Banchero's 250 something pounds. You cannot be an NBA power forward at 205 pounds. It's not going to work. That's really a wing, a small forward, and you need ball handling, shooting, passing. And if you don't have that, then you're not a small forward. And if you can't shoot, you're not a shooting guard. That means you don't really have a position in the NBA.
He rebounds well, and he thrived in transition. So the Bulls loved the energy that he brought, and they used their lottery pick on him. Unfortunately for him, though, he landed on today's list not because he's necessarily playing badly or even because of anything within his own control, but instead it's because he's had the most unfortunate injury luck to start a career. The Bulls sent him down to the G League to start this season, as they didn't immediately view him as ready for NBA minutes, but down in the G League, he actually played really well, putting up about 23 points and 9 rebounds per game in 4 games with the Windy City Bulls. And then when he did...
How many times have you seen this? Killian Hayes went down there when he was on the Brooklyn Nets, had that 25-point, 22-something assist game, gets back into the NBA, and just 4 points, 5 points.
Get called back up to Chicago. He made just 2 brief appearances in garbage time before suffering a season-ending shoulder injury. Noah Asenge can very much still become an excellent NBA player moving forward. I'm by no means denying that, but he was a lottery pick whose first season in the NBA has pretty much become a complete wash. Derek Queen was the player drafted immediately after him, and he's been one of the most productive rookies all season, looking like a triple-double threat at the center spot. So Chicago may be kicking themselves a bit on this one, seeing that, especially knowing that Nikola Vucevic is gone this summer. The next team we'll discuss that may already be regretting their draft pick is the San Antonio Spurs, who drafted Carter Bryant 14th overall. Bryant was the last lottery pick made last year, and even at the time it was viewed as a slight reach in some draft circles. Bryant was the safe, low ceiling but high floor prospect who played on a very good Arizona team in college, but was also just a role player on that team. He averaged just 6 points and 4 rebounds per game in his lone college season. And while I'm by no means someone who views college production as the end all be all for translating to the NBA game, it's also tough to take that aggressive of a swing on someone with this specific pick, as valuable as the 14th pick is. Bryant profiled as the ideal 3-and-D mold, with outstanding size at 6'8", and at Arizona, he made 37% of his threes, which is respectable, but it's closer to the average marker than it is to the good marker. Another red flag was that he was only taking 2 threes per game at Arizona, so with that little volume...
Yeah, that's not a large sample size. We were talking about Carter Bryant last year before the 2025 draft. A lot of guys, I looked at him, I was like, nah, I didn't see it. And guys call me a hater. So I'm just establishing credibility over here, man.
It's always going to be tough to judge what's sustainable and what isn't. Well, unfortunately for the Spurs, the 3-ball has not quite translated to the professional game. And his offense...
See, this is what I'm saying about Kingston Flemings, too. Yeah, he could shoot well in college, and then when you come to the NBA, they're more athletic. The closeouts are faster. They have, was it like 1.2 seconds, they can close you out, and then in order to really get the like let's say the separation that you actually really need, you actually have to be good at putting the ball on the floor, 1 dribble pull up, 2 dribble pull up, or let's say get around here and have like a decent clip from, like, let's say a floater. Like, say you can make like 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, and guys actually back off you, and then you can get a cleaner shot off. But if you can't do any of that, I mean, it's going to be a struggle for you, man.
Has been a struggle. Bryant isn't much of a creator on the ball. He's not going to operate as a secondary ball handler, and on the season so far, he's averaging just 2 points per game, shooting 35% from the field and 26% from 3. His work on the defensive end is what continues to get him opportunities to play spot minutes here and there, but his lack of output on the offensive end is why he hasn't been able to truly crack the team's rotation.
That's why I said you got to play both sides of the basketball. It's not just one. If you're a good defender, you actually have to have some ball creation. And if you're playing a 3, a small forward, you have to be able to handle the basketball, shoot the basketball, and pass the basketball. Even if, like, let's say, if you can't really pass and your teammate's wide open and you hesitate, and that's really essentially a turnover right there because of the shot clock. You know,
the Spurs knew coming into this season that they were preparing to make a run at the playoffs. So I see the logic behind drafting the supposed NBA-ready safe talent. But lottery picks are just too valuable to use on low-ceiling players with glaring flaws. The next team that's already starting to regret who they drafted in 2025 is the Portland Trail Blazers, who took Jan Hansen with the 16th pick. Hansen was viewed as second-round talent for pretty much 99% of the pre-draft process until the NBA draft combine went down. At the combine, Hansen dominated the scrimmages, showing off an incredibly intriguing skill set as a 7'1" center with incredible basketball IQ, advanced passing talent, incredible footwork in the post, and shooting range out to the three-point line. In today's era of NBA basketball dominated by Nikola Jokic, we're seeing general managers obsess over trying to find the next Nikola Jokic. And quickly...
Danny Wolf!
Hansen's draft stock started to skyrocket. But even in that sense, the conversations were only about him maybe sneaking into the first round as a later pick. Hansen wasn't even one of the prospects invited to the green room on draft night because nobody expected him to be a mid-first rounder. And when it got announced that the Blazers took him 16th, he had to come walking down to the stage from the crowd. Hansen's rise was an incredible...
Yeah, and that's really more or less the problem with him, is really like the time, the targeting. You get switched on to like let's say a Cade Cunningham, and they can easily burn you. So now you actually have to send help. I'm gonna keep really like harping on this, man, in terms of like defense and like help being sent for you, and guys is constantly making threes, or you turn the basketball over and now they getting like in transition and getting easy buckets, man. So, yeah, man. He says Young Hansen was a so yeah, that's true too. Play what? Hold on, did my camera freeze over here? Yeah, sure did. I don't know what the hell's going on. Yeah, it says come on. He says come. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I didn't see it. I was looking at Mala Watch. I was trying to tell Claude I didn't see it, man, at all. It was just nasty work, man. I'm like, I didn't see it at all. He was just raw. I didn't see anything about him, like no jump hook consistently. I didn't see anything. No floater, nothing, man. Just nothing from Mala Watch, man. So let's see. We can finish out the rest of the video, I think. Let me see if there's anybody else in this thing here.
Story, and I would love to see him work out at the NBA level. But as we're now seeing, there was a reason why he was only pegged as second-round talent in the first place. Hansen is another rookie struggling to earn any kind of significant minutes in year one, and unlike some of the other players we've discussed, the reasoning for that with him is because he is struggling to adjust to this level of play. Hansen is an incredibly slow-footed player and gets absolutely abused on the defensive end, which for a center is a coach's worst nightmare. In today's NBA, if you're going to be a negative on the defensive side of the ball, at center, you need to be able to serve as a hub of offense. And Hansen is quickly learning that there's a difference between combine scrimmages against G League level talent and the speed of play against NBA players. He's averaging just 2 points per game, shooting an abysmal 20.
Yes, a lot of times when you get the basketball, there's like team schemes. So like they could, let's say, double team you, single coverage the next possession. What they call a fake, like I said, a fake double team. They're gonna act like they're gonna send a double team, but they pull back. Then they double team you. Then they'll go single coverage, and you have to make those reads. And they come fast, man. You hear these guys like Dweebus Pro, they don't play defense. They play defense, man. They do play defense. So yeah, man, it's a struggle for these guys, man. They have to really adjust, and I don't think he's going to last. And they were talking about him. I think LM was talking about getting him on the team, and he called me a hater because I didn't really like him. I watched him. I'm like, nah, man. It's just, you got to have some sort of lateral movement. Even Danny Wolf. He doesn't get embarrassed out there. He's not like the most twitchiest muscle guy, but he does slide his feet though, and he gives effort.
8% from the field and 15% from three. He's turning it over more often than he's dishing out assists. And if the Trailblazers had the chance to do over their 16th pick, they would likely want to take advantage of that opportunity. And finally, the last team.
Oh, Ben Sarif, no!
Is the Brooklyn Nets, who took Ben Sharaf 26th overall. The Nets had one of the strangest drafts I've ever seen in 2025, as they had a record-setting 5 first-round picks. They used all 5 of them, and they came away with a lot of overlapping talent. They used their lottery pick on Yegor Dioman, whose appeal came as a tall point guard with impressive playmaking talent at his size and a budding perimeter jumper. They then also selected Nolan Traore at pick number 19, who, you guessed it, is another point guard, but with more of the traditional quick twitch on the ball operating skills you would come to expect from the position. There was no need for them to target a third guard whose primary appeal was as a playmaker, but alas, they did it anyway, with that being exactly what happened with this selection of Ben. Ben was the most obvious redundant pick ever, and even on draft night, most onlookers were scratching their heads wondering what the heck Brooklyn was doing. Hindsight could have possibly gone in their favor if Ben Sharaf came out playing well to start his career, but instead, his role has gotten smaller and smaller as the season has gone on due to poor play on the court, and hindsight is telling us that Brooklyn probably should have targeted someone else with a different play style with this pick. Sharaf is averaging 5 points and 2 assists per game, turning it over nearly as often as he's assisting it, and he's shooting just 37% from the field and 26% from three. The Nets had a chance to do something great with all of these picks in a strong draft class, but instead, it's looking like an opportunity that they're going to look back on with.
I wouldn't say it's a strong. I mean, they did miss out on Derek Queen. There was a couple of players out there, but yeah, Ben Saraf. What you guys think about him, man? I would give him some time. I mean, he's averaging 5.5 assists. That's better than Carter Bryant's 2.6. And I think Ben Saraf could generate some sort of offense. It's better than Carter Bryant and the Mala Watch guy. I don't even know why Ben is even on the list somewhat, but he just has to get adjusted to the NBA speed and just work on his shot and just be more of a consistent, because you can't. He's a great playmaker. I mean, he really has a good feel for the game. But you have to look to score, man. You gotta look to score and have that mindset, and then just combine that passing scoring mindset. And he hasn't done that yet, and he's been assigned to the G League, so that's not good. You figure with the tank and everything that you would play him more to actually really truly develop him. But maybe this guy's right. They don't really truly believe in a Ben Saraf. All right, so I am going to get some sleep. I'll be on tomorrow night. I think we're going to do the game. I think they play. Who they play? I think they play Cleveland or something like that tomorrow. And then after that, we're going to do a Caleb Wilson breakdown, a scouting report. And I mean, that could be a threat to Noah Clowney. We'll see. He says Sarah Gelio saying that Sarah was a redundant pick and hasn't looked good, but there's definitely yeah, exactly. I believe in Ben Saraf. I do believe in him. It's just a mindset of him looking to go out there and score. Jody Fernandez could do better. Let's say if there's a really, really good defender on him. Let's say if Lou Dort is actually guarding him. This is where you need a Dayron Sharp in there to actually go out there and set a screen for him and see if you can get like a better matchup for him. But we'll definitely see, man. We'll definitely see. Time will actually tell. If Ben Saraf can just be a good backup point guard, I mean, that's a win-win right there. I don't expect him to be an all-star caliber player. Same thing with Nolan Troyer. If you can, you got to build a roster. You got to build a team. So, all right. I will wrap this up. Longer live stream tomorrow night. I got to get some sleep, man. And definitely like, comment, subscribe. Certainly share the show. When you share, the universe certainly shares back with you. Peace.